Hello. If the sound quality sounds really bad in this video, it is because I'm using the internal microphone of the camera as opposed to an external microphone. And for reasons that will be clear in a couple of minutes, I need a small, compact camera for this video to take around because this is going to be more of a vlog style video. It is currently August 13th. It is currently a little over a week before my fall classes start. They start the 23rd. So I have a long list of things I want to accomplish this week. With me starting school, I just know that I won't have that much time to give to reading anymore, especially reading non-school books. So I'm going to try to fit in most of the reading I need to get done this month into a week, which should be fun. This week, my goals are to finish Malice. I'm currently almost halfway done. I am like 250 pages and it's about 600 pages, so I want to finish that. I need to finish the 2 books that I picked out for the books on my shelf I need to read this month, which is The Eye of the World, which sucks because I wish I didn't have to read 2 epic fantasies. Angels and Demons by Dan Brown, and the final one is The Joy Luck Club by Amy Tan. So those are the 4 books I want to finish this week. And then I also want to get a big chunk into War and Peace. I'm only about 100 pages into this book. I keep telling myself I'm going to read 10 pages a day and then I don't end up doing that. So today is a busy day. I didn't tell you guys earlier, but not only am I getting married soon, but my sister is too. So we have to go shop around for venues today. So my fiance is coming over. You get to see him actually. And then we are going to my school, which I will actually show you. And I haven't been back to my school in a year and a half since pre-COVID. Since March of 2020, I have not stepped foot on campus, which is really surreal to me. So we are going to go and scout out my classes, and then I'm hoping to spend at least some time today reading because I have a lot of reading to do. So I will check back with you in a few hours when I'm about to go to my college campus because this morning I'm going to be relatively busy. So I'm currently at my school now. It feels really weird to be back. I haven't been here for almost a year and a half, and I'm here with my fiance, Zach. Say hi.
Hi.
Hi. So we're going to go check out where my classes are and then take a trip to the library, and I'm gonna make Zach browse through books. Very hot. It's currently 5 p.m. I would have given you an update sooner, but after we went to my university, we found my classrooms pretty quickly, and then we just went into the library and just browsed around for a little bit, hoping to get cool. Because it is ridiculously hot, and worse yet, we had to wear masks throughout the entire school on the inside. Outside, you can take your masks off, but I'm the type of person that I can't really handle wearing masks, which is why I don't leave the house much during COVID. I have issues with breathing and getting enough air, and I'll get faint quickly when I wear a mask. So So this semester is going to be fun for that. So after we got home, we stopped off and got some ice cream for Zach, my fiance. And then after we got home, we just kind of collapsed for a couple hours. So we have been home for maybe like 2 hours now. And finally, I can hopefully get some reading done. I have done very little reading today. I read about 15 pages of War and Peace, which is pretty good because I'm hoping to read 20 pages per day. So I'm going to read the last like 5 pages of War and Peace, and then I'm just going to have a restful evening. Usually I tend to like to take off my weekends, so Saturday and Sunday I don't do much, so we'll see if I get much reading done. So let's get to reading today, and then I will take the rest of the weekend off, except for, you know, some reading before bed. So I will see you on Monday. Okay, hi, I am back, and it is currently 7:48 on Monday morning, August 16th, and I did 0 reading over the weekend. I have a little catch up to do today because currently have 4 books that I want to finish this week, and I now have only 5 days. What I'm going to do is I'm hoping to finish Malice. I haven't talked at all about this, I just mentioned that I was reading it. So this is an epic fantasy. It was on my TBR for this month because my fiance really adores this series and he wanted me to at least try to read the first book. It follows this large array of characters. So you have Corbin, who is this, I guess, poorer son. He's dealing with bullying in his village. But he also has some possibly unique abilities. You also have Veritas, who is this assistant to the prince. All these people, and some not so much, are preparing for this resurgence of the God War, this epic war, I believe, between giants and humans that occurred, I think like 1,000 years ago, over 2,000 years ago. So there's certain people that are preparing for that. Certain people don't believe it's happening. So other people are trying to convince those people that it is going to be happening and they need to prepare. Corbin's being trained to fight. There is this, I guess, prophecy that there is this chosen one who will lead them in the coming fight, in the coming war. And what's really cool about this book is it plays on the chosen one trope, but makes it really unique because you don't know who the chosen one is. And you still don't. Like, I'm halfway through the first book almost, and you still don't know who the chosen one is. The world is also really interesting, but I don't read that much fantasy. I am a complete baby when it comes to reading fantasy. So I'm really overwhelmed with trying to keep track of all the worlds and characters. Especially, I feel like there are way too many perspectives. Especially some of those perspectives. For example, Corbin's sister has a few chapters that is in her perspective. And it's so unnecessary because she is kind of in the same area as Corbin anyway, and he could learn the information about what she does quite easily. So I just feel like it's not necessary to have her be in the perspective. And I know that fantasy is kind of renowned for having a lot of perspectives often. I mean, just look at Game of Thrones. But I don't necessarily love it in this one. So far, it's an okay fantasy, but I'm not loving it. Now, according to my fiance, the ending of this first book is amazing, even though he didn't love it up till the end, and then the rest of the books are really good after that. So I'm thinking all I have to do is make it through this first book and I will enjoy it more. And then I also want to read 60 pages of War and Peace. Again, I haven't talked about this one that much. I just mentioned that I was reading it. It pretty much follows a few families during the Napoleonic era in Russia. I believe it starts in 1805 or 1804, I don't remember. But it's before Napoleon tries to invade Russia. The main character, I would say, is Pierre. He is kind of this bumbling, ridiculous character. He was educated in different parts of Europe. He hasn't been in Russia for a long time. He is the illegitimate son of this very wealthy man who is now dying. He suffered several strokes. And so his father's final wish is to see Pierre again. So Pierre returns to Russia, getting into so much trouble. He's out drinking, not with the most savory of crowd. And he has a good heart, but he's just so stupid. and his father ends up dying and leaving him this massive inheritance. So Pierre is this like 17-year-old boy in the beginning, and he just doesn't know what to do with all this money. There are several different other families. So Prince Andrei's family, I would say, is the second main, and that is comprised of his father, who's a pretty harsh, interesting man, and his sister Maria, and his young wife, who is pregnant. And Andrei has decided to go off to war. And then the third family, who I would say is the main characters, is Natasha's family. So she is the main love interest to Pierre. I would say she's the heroine of the book. She starts off as like 13 in this book, which means she is like 5 years old, 5 years younger than Pierre, because he's 17 at the beginning. And she's very childlike. She's very ideal. She's in love with this one soldier family of the friend Boris, and she has 3 siblings. But the most important one is Nikolai, who is her older brother by like a year or 2. I don't remember. And then there's also her cousin. So Sonia is their orphan cousin who has lived with them for years, and she is in love with Nikolai, her cousin, which I guess during that time it wasn't considered bad. Yeah, so that's, I would say, the main 3 families. They have a bunch of other characters. I'm really enjoying this book. I'm loving it, in fact, but it takes so long to read. I would say I go through about 25 pages of this in an hour, which on average, I would say in most books, I read 50 to 100 pages in an hour. So that's double to 4 times as much as I can read in this one. So it does take me a long time to read it. I have a long list of things to do today. I woke up early. I'm happy how early I woke up. It's only 8 a.m. and I feel like I'm starting the day off well. I will talk back to you maybe tonight to update you on how I did today. Okay, I am back. Today did not go quite as expected with my reading. So I did end up finishing Malice. I'll get to that in a second. But I didn't end up reading any of War and Peace, and I blame Malice because I spent like 8 hours today reading Malice. So yeah, let's get to Malice. My final thoughts. I'm still kind of digesting it. There's certain things I love about it. For example, Storm. Storm is my favorite character. She is a dire wolf that the arguably main character, Corbin, finds as a cub, and he raises her, and it's very cute. I just love her so much, okay? The last 100 pages are very action-packed, and I enjoyed that far more than I have been enjoying the rest of the book. However, I don't know, like, there's some scenes that I absolutely loved. For example, there is this kidnapping scene where this queen is kidnapped and they have to deal with that. And I absolutely loved that. The pacing, the action, when they jumped from character and perspective to perspective, it was just perfect. But then there's other points where I'm like, is this that great? I don't know. See, I'm afraid to give this a rating because for me, I'm afraid my liking of it is decreased just because it isn't exactly my type of book. Because objectively, this is a very well-written book. And if you like high fantasy and you like epic fantasy, you will love this book. I got the main gist of this world, but if you gave me a quiz on who's who, I would definitely get an F. Because I can only, right off the top of my head, think of like 4 or 5 character names, which is really bad because there are dozens of main characters. And in fact, like the last few pages, the last few chapters, a lot of the people come together kind of and coincide. Their stories come together, and like I was like, who's this person again? For like half the people. Obviously the main ones you remember, but yeah, I don't know. And half of it is just me because I know that listening to an audiobook, I don't catch as many things as I would if I was detailedly reading this book. But I also know I don't want to take that much time, especially when I'm reading War and Peace, and that takes me so long to read. So it was a good book. but it's not my style of book. So I don't know, I'm going back between 3 or 4 stars because on one hand, objectively, this is a very good book, but enjoyment wise, it wasn't perfect for me. Now that we're done with that, I do want to tackle a bunch of War and Peace today and tomorrow. But the other thing I want to get into is Angels and Demons by Dan Brown. I will check back with you tomorrow. It is Tuesday, and I've already read about 20 pages in War and Peace. I'm not enjoying the second part as much as I enjoyed the first part. So the book is divided into volumes, and each of those volumes is then divided into parts. The first part of the first volume follows the wealthier families, the aristocracy. The second one shifts over to when Prince Andrei is in the war, in the military, and is focusing on the soldiers in the war. And we've been introduced to pretty much an entirely new cast of characters. Besides Prince Andrei, there's no one I actually think we've met before. So it's kind of like having to learn a whole new group of characters. Now, this may be just the only second group of characters and there may be nobody else, but so far it's hard to like get into it when I feel like I'm literally starting a new book. I don't feel the need to read more of War and Peace, at least for a while. So let's get to Minecraft and to Angels and Demons. I tried listening to the beginning of Angels and Demons. I don't know if I'm going to enjoy this. I know a lot of people were saying, yeah, when I read it, I really enjoyed it and it's such a good book. But so far I'm like, it's a little far-fetched. But interestingly enough, Dan Brown's writing feels very much like Michael Crichton's writing. Michael Crichton, of course, wrote Jurassic Park. I've read 4 or so books by him and I really enjoy his writing. So Dan Brown's writing style is very similar because they have much more in like science and what ifs, which I find interesting, but I don't know, it just goes over the top, I feel like. But I only listened to like a half hour last night while going to bed, so it's not enough for me to say. In fact, I think I'm just going to restart the audiobook and just start from the beginning, see what I think. So yeah, I will probably not check back with you until the end of the day. Okay, it is currently 8:30 at night. I didn't get into Angels and Demons quite as far as I wanted to. I am currently on page 140, so yeah, not horrible, but it is a 500 and something page book. So I was hoping to get to page 250. It follows this man, Robert Langdon, and he is a symbolist, like archaeologist type thing, but he studies symbols, mostly religious symbols it seems like, throughout history. And so he has been called in because this very brilliant scientist mysteriously dies and is murdered and has the symbol of the Illuminati carved into his skin. So Langdon is brought in to kind of solve the mystery, and it takes them back to the Vatican, where there is a conspiracy to possibly destroy the church. At first, I really wasn't enjoying this book, and it's more for just personal reasons. It has very little understanding of Catholicism, and it is very negative on Catholicism in the beginning. The first like 50 pages, it repeats so many common things that people think, misconceptions about Catholicism. For example, the Galileo situation, or for example, the idea that the church is anti-science, which is odd considering the early church actually promoted science. I didn't really like it in the beginning because of that, because it was very negative on Catholicism in particular, but religion in general. However, now that it's gotten to some of more of the adventure parts, I'm enjoying it a lot more. It's a fun book. I will update you guys tomorrow on how my reading is going. Okay, quick update. It is the next morning and it is like 9:30. I slept in this morning. I slept for like 10 hours last night. I ended up not getting to War and Peace at all last night. I did turn on my audiobook for Angels and Demons for a little bit before going to bed, and I got about 25 pages in. So I'm currently 165 pages in. I'm still really enjoying it. It's a fun thriller once you get past the kind of anti-Christian sentiment that kind of permeates the entire story. So my plans today are kind of crazy because not only do I want to get a bunch of sewing done for my wedding dress, but also I have to go to the venue that I'm picking out for my wedding and kind of finalize. So I probably won't have that much chance to read today. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, I am back. It is August 19th. It's about noon now. I did not check back with you again yesterday because I didn't get any reading done. And I was just completely drained after going to see the venue. So this morning I went shopping for a little bit, and then this afternoon I'm going to drive down and see my fiance, and then after that I need to go to Joann Fabrics because the bodice of my wedding dress is not fitting well, so I need to find another pattern to kind of morph onto the skirt of the previous pattern. Probably doesn't make any sense to non-sewers out there, but look what I got from the Dollar Tree. Isn't it cute? It's a little fake plant. It was $1, okay? Shouldn't have bought it, but that's not the point. Also today I am working on, you've probably seen in my videos, this, this big plant that I have. This plant here is a fake plant I bought from Hobby Lobby, and I have had it in this plant, but it hasn't been tall enough, so I've just been putting it on top of the plant like this, like a weirdo, which you may have seen in previous of my clips. So I bought a new one because that one was my mom's, and isn't that pretty? It's so pretty. And I bought this, which is just a folding stool basic, but I'm going to put sew a quick cover. My point is that I have done very little to no reading today. I did get like 25 pages of Angels and Demons done yesterday, but not enough. I do not think I will be that productive this week. I was hoping to be more productive, but clearly not. Good morning and welcome to the last day of this vlog. It is August 20th and I kind of failed in this reading vlog. So I'm currently 300 pages into Angels and Demons, so I have maybe 250 pages left, and I'm really enjoying it. It's just a fun thriller besides the more anti-Christian feel of the entire book. It's a fictional thriller. You know, it's not actually accurate. It's like saying that National Treasure, that movie with Nicolas Cage, which I absolutely love, is actually accurate, and there is a secret map on the back of the Declaration of Independence, which is not true, obviously. My only concern is that people who go into this book with little to no knowledge about Christianity will then have a negative view of it. If I read a book about, for example, Islam, it's very negative about that religion. You know, what am I going to do? Like, I don't know that much about the religion of Islam. So if I read that book, I'm going to say, oh, okay, so these all things about Islam were true. And that may not necessarily be the case. You know, they may not be true, or they may be misconstruing it slightly. I don't believe an author can be entirely unbiased. I'm hoping to just finish this today. I have a bunch of sewing to do for my wedding dress, so I think I'm going to just turn on the audiobook for this in the background and just finish it up. I also started the fourth book of The Wizard of Oz, which I have on Kindle on my phone. I just wanted something like lighter and fun and not as intense as War and Peace or Angels and Demons. So I will get back to you this evening for one last update, and then we will finish out this vlog. Okay, final update, just quickly. It is in the evening on Friday. I did succeed in finishing Angels and Demons. I did not do much sewing on my wedding dress. I ended up just playing Minecraft. So I finished it, and what are my final thoughts? I think I'm going to give it 3 stars, kind of in the middle, because as a thriller and an adventure novel, it does its job. It's very good when it comes to quick pacing and interesting twists and turns. You're always wondering, like, what are they going to learn? Like, what code do they have to decipher next? And that part was just incredible. When it comes to characters, I won't say they are the best characters I've read, but they're interesting enough. Langdon is a really good protagonist. He's kind of middle ground. He's very smart, but he's also a relatively moral, upright character, so he's very easy to support or be on his side. You know, you want him to win in the end. So it's not like he's morally ambiguous. Saying that, a lot of the background characters aren't as fleshed out as I would like them to be. They just have specific one focus, and that's all they have. For example, there is this reporter who's trying to learn about the stuff that's going on in the Vatican, and his, I guess, entire character is built out of, he wants this story. That's his entire character. He's never developed beyond that. For most of the characters, they were very, like, this is my goal, and that's it. There's nothing to their character beyond that. But saying that, when it comes to a quick-paced thriller, you don't expect the characters to be fully fleshed out. You know, they kind of just serve their purpose in the thrilling aspects, and then the thriller parts are more of the focus, if that makes sense. So I didn't hate that, but the characters aren't the best. The main reason I give this book lower rating than I would necessarily, because this, to me, is more of a 4-star rating. And the main reason I do is just how many things, basic understanding of history and the Catholic Church, it gets wrong. And it's clear that Dan Brown did a lot of research when it came to understanding how the Vatican works and how the hierarchy in the church works, how the conclaves to elect a new pope work. He got so much right. And yet when it comes to the actual, like, history of the Catholic Church and theology of the Catholic Church, he gets almost everything wrong. And some things you can just dismiss it as, oh, this is obviously fictional. So that was frustrating for me to read, especially as a Catholic, because I'm reading it saying this is a really popular mainstream series, and a lot of people who don't know about the Catholic Church are going to read this and get a lot of misconceptions or misunderstandings of what the Catholic Church and what the Catholic faith is. I also did get only like 15 pages done with War and Peace, so I didn't get as much of it done as I wanted to. Let's see. My sewing is on top of it. I'm currently on page 150, so I was hoping to get to 300. At least I got a little ways in, so I generally was able to take my time over the last, I guess, month and a half to kind of understand the basics of War and Peace before my class starts, and then we're going to break it down and read it together. But I do have an extra, I think, week and a half to finish the last 2 books I need to read this month, which is The Wheel Time and The Joy Luck Club. But I did finish 2 books this week and at least read a little bit of War and Peace. So, have you read any of these books that I've talked about in this video? Do you disagree with my opinions? I'd love to know your thoughts down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, like. If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. And I will see you all in the next video. I post every Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Have a great week. Bye!